we have started and just about completed the new intercooler setup. We went from a horizontal intercooler. We would go from here. It would probably cover about that much or so, flow horizontally, and then go through there. But we decided, at the suggestion of Treadstone and a couple other places, upon our research, we found that a vertical is probably going to be best for us. We're going to see less pressure loss, and we probably will see better cooling, because all of this under here is going to be exposed by the bumper. So we're actually cutting holes in the bumper here, and the rest of it's going to be exposed by the you can barely see it, but the valence. The rest of this is going to be left open. You can see that the radiator is exposed there, so we're going to have much better cooling to the radiator now. So we're hoping this is going to be a little bit better for our setup, and we won't see those crazy IATs anymore. Justin redid the intercooler piping. Looks pretty good. And then we're just going to modify this a little bit here in a second to put the 90 on. And I've already modified the valence. The only thing left to really modify is these pieces here. We're going to take these a little bit further back so that we have more opening. That way this entire section will get exposed to air. Other than that, we're going to do this first, see how this works, make sure that we don't have any boost leaks, and then see if we've got any better cooling. I'm pretty positive that this is going to give us better results, because if you think about it, the old one was 760 horsepower capable to the crank and only 1200 CFM. This one is almost 2000 CFM and is rated for 1300 horsepower at the crank. And it has a much lower pressure drop. You can see that it's got a little divider in there. It's kind of hard to tell, but it goes and routes half of the airflow to one side and half of the airflow to the other. The other one didn't have anything like that, so and it was also, since it's horizontal, it has a greater pressure drop because it has fewer long tubes going through it. So long tubes create lots more pressure loss. A lot of smaller tubes create less pressure loss. And we don't think it's going to cause any cooling issues, because the majority of the cooling from the intercooler actually happens in the first 4 to 8 inches. Well, this is a 9-inch core, so I think we'll be okay. And the fact that it's directing it half and half, I think we're actually going to see better intake temperatures. I'm looking forward to it. I think that intercooler was so restrictive that it was causing just a lot of pressure buildup before the intercooler, after the turbo, which was causing an increase in intake temperatures, because higher pressure equals heat, and this intercooler couldn't flow it efficiently. So we don't have a pre or post intercooler map sensor. So we're not really, I don't think we're going to add one, but if I see the data where the boost pressure holds and the intake temps drop, we know we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. So, who's that? What's he doing? What's he doing up there? What are you doing? Why are you sitting? What's going on?
Your box off.
Oh, snap.
I didn't even break anything.
Oh, snap. Yeah, working on a couple things in there. And then, so yeah, we're going to see how this goes, and then I might have a little surprise coming. Got some new products that are out that we want to try. And yeah, we're might step it up a notch. So once again, we'll see what comes next. All right, gang, we pretty much finished up the new intercooler setup. It's really loud in here. It's like storming outside really bad. But yeah, so you can see here we basically just remade the intercooler piping. The radius here, it's kind of long, so we had to kind of cut a little bit away here. This hole was not enough. So anyways, all that looks good going in there. We're going to actually take this pipe here. We're going to put a bracket on it to where it holds right there, and we're just going to have it to where it feeds air to the turbo, but doesn't cover the turbo, so we don't have any type of restrictions. It's just going to feed cool air to it. Will that help? I don't know. seen other people do it. We're gonna do it. But yeah, you can see down in there we've not got like the intercooler piping going there anymore, so gotta kind of tuck a little bit of the wiring out. Probably gonna redo this deal where it's I got another one where it will just have the hole for this deal. Then the other side is pretty much exactly the same as it was. So I'm gonna close the hood and show y'all the front. So it looks pretty much the same. Let's do this. Of course, you can look in there and you can see there's no intercooler up there. You can't see it. So it's just straight up radiator. Hard to tell, hard to see. Radiator and a fan. So where's the intercooler? Well, it's down here. So there, and then air will direct through there. I'm thinking about taking this bottom piece here and just making a straight plate to go over so that all the air has to force into that. But we're gonna see how this does for now. You can see it's the vertical core. It goes right to the edge of this deal, right to the edge, a little bit further over on that side, but either way, a lot more coverage. And then when we take this off, you can see in there, whole thing is cut out. We'll have that entire thing exposed. So once that's off, it's just all the airflow. Now, turn this off. The only thing I don't like about it is this. I got to figure out something to do. When this is off, this is just going to kind of flap. So it's kind of ghetto. I don't know if I'm going to use some 3M sticky tape or something like that. That might be the ticket. But we resecured the bumper. I don't know if y'all noticed before, it was sagging really bad. Well, we actually took the entire bracketry off of this thing, and now it's just held in by some screws. Kind of like we did with the back bumper. Drilled some little pilot holes there, and then some screws going up in it. And it's way more secure than it's ever been. So, and it's up, it's not sagging anymore. So yeah, all that secure, it's all on there. It actually came out pretty great. There's more room between the intercooler and the fan, and there's more room between the bumper and the intercooler. So this vertical core intercooler, which is opposite side, it's the only way you can do vertical is if you have the inlet or the outlet on opposite ends. It's in there, so we'll see if it works. I don't know when I'm gonna try it out. Hopefully here pretty soon. And then I'm gonna get the injectors cleaned, and then I got new plugs for it, and we're gonna put all that stuff together and go make some tests on the intercooler. Fingers crossed that it works. It has to. It's more efficient. It just is what it is. It's made for a lot more horsepower than the old one was made for. So I don't know. We're gonna see. Some people say that it's for a V8 with low V8 with low boost, and then some people say that it's good for Supras and things like that. But this is our old one, and as you can see, like I was saying, the airflow comes in. There's no dividers or anything, so the airflow comes in, and then, you know, it fills the deal, but it's the path of least resistance, right? So it's going to try to go straight to the other side, and that might not be distributing the air evenly. Plus these tubes, it has to run through these tubes, and it's a lot less efficient. So that's where the pressure drop comes from. That one, the tubes go vertical, and they're half as long or more. Even though it's a smaller core, technically the volume is smaller, it's more efficient. So anyways, did that. Justin added a relay to with a harness, a timed relay to the harness. That's really all we did today. So next up, we'll put the injectors in. Oh, and now you can see the intercooler through here. I don't think it's gonna hit the tire. I'm pretty sure it's not. I don't think that's gonna be a problem, because if it does, if it was to hit that, hit that, it would have to hit this. And anyways, next up, plugs. I'm gonna take the injectors out tomorrow and clean them, throw them in there. Probably the next weekend, we're gonna go make some hits and just see how it does. I expect on wastegate, it usually runs like 10 pounds, 10 to 11 pounds. I expect it to run probably a little bit more than that, because the intercooler is more efficient. And I'm totally just guessing here. It's just in my head, it makes sense. So I think that, it'll probably run just a little bit more boost. And then when I turn it up, I'm hoping to watch that boost curve, instead of going here and then just falling. I'm hoping that it just kind of tapers off a little bit less. We're gonna try that, and then, like I said, we've got something coming up next for this thing. So, well, dang guys, it's been a while. I've not been making any content. I've just been kind of working on the car and then getting ready for the kiddo that's on the way. So I haven't really been touching this thing very much, but I have made some changes that I'm gonna just tell y'all about real quick, and then I got something pretty cool that we're about to install right now. First up, we swapped the injectors out. We were running about 90% duty cycle at 2K on the 1700s. So I got those cleaned, and then I didn't really want to throw them back in there just for testing and all that stuff. And then I'm gonna try to sell them, and I didn't want to sell them with any runtime on them, so I got them cleaned, packaged up, tested, flow tested, all that crap. They are good. They had 0 issues. So from the last time we cleaned them, they had not changed. They were perfect. So the IDs were great. So the 1700s are going up for sale, but I put some ID 2600 XDSs in here. One thing that I realized I didn't even know was happening. I changed my firmware on Megasquirt last year in, I don't know, May, or basically whenever we blew up the stock motor racing the ZR1. I updated the firmware on Megasquirt, and I guess I just didn't read it. I know I didn't read it, because I would have made these changes, but it was like, I guess they changed the strategy that they use for their injectors for dead times, and it just kind of loaded a default in there. And I kind of remember, sorry, kind of dirty, I kind of remember it running really way off from what it ran before, and I just couldn't remember. I couldn't figure out what the issue was, so I just tuned around it, and then I think I chalked it up to like the injectors. They were clean now and good, and the old injectors weren't, which we know the old injectors had an issue. Well, not the old injectors. The injectors before they got clean had an issue. Same injectors that I ran at 2K. But like the wideband was off too, so I found that the wideband was like 1.3 points off, showing 1.3 points richer on the logger than it did on the actual gauge. So at 2K, when we were running like high 10s AFR on like really high boost, it was like in the 9s. So we were just like way down on power. And that makes sense about why it only went 374, 1630, which is crazy. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm like still just blown away about how fast the car is. But if it had been 1.3 points higher on AFR like it should have been, it would have gone even faster. So anyways, all the injector calculations were way off. The AFRs we were running were way richer. And I didn't realize that until I went to go put these dead time values in, and I realized everything changed. Because when you put the 2600s in there, you got to redo all the dead time values, and then you have to put the small pulse width values in there too, which Injector Dynamics is great. They provide all that information. So I put all that in there, and now the car runs like even better on the 2600s than it did on the 1700s. I was a little nervous. I thought that 2600s were going to run poorly, because the old adage is that a bigger injector runs poor at lower pulse widths, and that is true. But when you get a high quality injector like Injector Dynamics,
The XDSs have a they're just a lot more tame and a lot more tunable down low at lower pulse widths because of the type of technology that they put into the injector. And Megasquirt has a totally separate dead time for that for small pulse widths. So it's called non-linear, and I could get into why and what it is, but I'm not going to, because I'll save you the time and the boringness of it. But essentially, at lower pulse widths, meaning at very low injector spray, the injectors, if you put all the data in and you tune it correctly, can have a nice consistent pulse width that still emits just enough fuel so that it can burn properly, and you're not flooding your engine out at idle, trying to idle at 11 or 12. You can actually get into the 13s, 14s with a good stable idle. So if you had an older injector, you wouldn't be able to accomplish something like that. You'd have to kind of sacrifice idle quality for higher end power. So anyways, got the 2600s in there. We've got the intercooler, which I did go out and drive it on these 2600s, and honestly, the intake temps, they didn't really change, but I only ran on 10 pounds. They didn't really change much. I'm thinking that, I don't even know if that intercooler is gonna do what I wanted it to do. That's kind of yet to be seen. But I know that it was hot that day that I went out, and the intake temps they gradually went up just like before. The boost kind of stayed around the same. So I don't know if it's just a core thickness issue, or if it's a treadstone intercooler issue, or maybe I need to go to like a 4.5-inch Garrett core and just custom make it. But for now, we're gonna just try it out and see. It is hot as hell. It's 100 degrees today. We're getting into the hot season. But I got something really cool to show you guys that we're gonna put on right now. You know, the 6870 was almost all in. I would think it was pretty close to all in, but it had all those other issues that we were dealing with. And I just felt like on the track, on the prepped track, the car, even in like third gear, but mostly like fourth, fifth gear, it could have used a lot more horsepower, and it could have put it down. Like whatever, if I put through 200 more horsepower at Texas Motorplex, like it probably would have taken it. So I'm like, why don't we just throw more power at it? It's got the built motor, it's got billet mains, it's got boost line rods, it's got diamond pistons, pocket port head, 269 GSC stage 1 cams, good for somewhere in the 1200 horsepower range. So why not give it what it needs? That's kind of another reason why I put 2600s in there, because I knew I was about to step up turbo size. We made what, 1025 on 35 pounds and good DA, good weather. At Texas Motorplex during 2K, I think I was probably in the 900 to 950 range at the most because of the issues that we're running into. So now I'm gonna go up a couple turbo sizes. We were really on the edge about going with the next gen 7275. That is really what I wanted to go with, because there was cars that had been going 7s on those, on Supras, on like A90 Supras and other B58 cars. Even S58 cars been going 7s on 7275s, and dipping into, I think, like the low 3s, high 2s on the 60 to 130. Definitely 2s on the 7-second cars. So I was like, man, 7275 is probably like right where I want to be. Well, I was talking to some guys at Precision at 2K, and they convinced me to wait. I was gonna pull the trigger on a 7275, and they're like, hey man, give it like 1 more month. We got something else coming out. They told me what it was, and they're like, it's not been advertised yet, but we're about to release it at the end of the month. Victor over at Induction is gonna do dyno comparisons, and you'll see. And so as soon as I saw that video, I was like, I think that's what I want. So without further ado, I'm unboxing our new Precision Next Gen 7675. Yep, so I'm about to pull it out. I'm about to check it out. All right, here it is in all its glory. The Next Gen 7675.
This is a 115 AR housing. We had a 1.0, or have a 1.0 on the 6870. But you'll notice something. You might notice something about that compressor that you don't see on that.
Can you guess what it is?
It's a T51R mod. So, I'm about to make all the cool spoily boy noises. Spins nicely. So yeah, anyways. I'm about to start pulling the old one off and put this one on. So, yeah.
I'll probably not film a whole lot of it because it's not very interesting, and y'all have seen me change turbos on this car. Oh, I don't know, a few times now. From the 6466 going in on the build to 6870 going in to the 6870 going in again after we destroyed the turbine wheel and had to get it rebuilt, and then now this. So number 4. Shouldn't take me too long.
All right, we got it off. It wasn't too bad. So, 6870 next gen. $76.75 next gen with the T51R. Can't really tell in the video how much bigger the 76 wheel is, but it's considerably bigger. I mean, obviously. Even the turbine housing, like, just looks bigger. Kinda. They're dimensionally about the same, but the AR is obviously bigger on the 115. So it should bolt up exactly like it did before. Let me flip it over and we'll compare the turbines. So 75 or 70, 75. 70, which is hard to see because I ran so rich. 75. 10, 115. So yeah, anyways, about to throw this bad boy on there and get it clocked in the right position, and then that'll be that. I cannot wait to see how this thing does. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to drive it today. So we're just gonna install it, and then next week, hopefully everything goes as planned. We can go and test drive it and get at least wastegate tuned, maybe tune it up for 10 to 20 pounds. And if that all looks good, then we'll be ready for SCT, and we probably won't even, our plan originally was to, leave the setup alone and then go to SCT and compete in the next class up this year and try to win that class, which we still may be able to do, but it's kind of the same game plan as last time. Just get it going, and then probably going to be tuning it at the track. Good thing is at the track I've got perfect traction, other than, well, we're starting at 40 miles an hour. So once I get into third, after 60 or so, I get good traction out there. So if anything, I've got a really nice track to go test on and just tune the car. And if we end up doing good and going rounds, hey, awesome. Would love to put another trophy on the shelf. So anyways, about to install the new hotness. If you guys didn't know, this is the largest, I guess it's like the highest rated, largest mid-frame turbo that Precision offers. If you go up from here, you go to a Sportsman housing, which is like a 5-inch intake and like a 4-inch outlet or something, and like a 5-inch outlet, which is, it's just beyond what we're gonna be able to really use. And this is, well, let's put it like this. The 6870 is a 1200 brake horsepower turbo, 1200 crank. The 7275 is a 1380 horsepower turbo, which is why we kind of wanted to go to that, because it was just a little bit bigger. But then this one's a 1480 horsepower turbo. So it's 280 horsepower difference on this turbo versus this one. So on like the same boost that we ran at the track, we could probably expect a 200 horsepower at the wheels difference. And I thought maybe we could handle 200 more horsepower, put us in the close to like the 1200 range. And this turbo will do it. This one would have been capped out at 1100 and it would have not gone any further. We would have had to add nitrous on top of it. I felt like if I was going to go for 1100, instead of just completely stressing this and watching the power curve would just do this. It would probably like go up and then just like fall off. This one's probably going to go up and just kind of stay there for the most part. It's going to be the point where I could make 1200 horsepower on this the entire time. Like after I shift from third to fourth, the entire pull will be 1200 horsepower. This one, if I wanted to hit 1100, it'd like peak 1100 and then drop down to like 1000 or so. So this one will just be a massive improvement all around. If you've looked at the induction performance dyno video comparing the 7275 and the 7675 next gens, you can see a massive difference from 6,000 RPM up, which is where the cars live. It did lose 500 RPM a spool, but it was also on a non-VVTi motor, and I'm hoping with VVTi it's negligible. So we'll see. All right, well, first problem, precision. The hardware that we get from PHR, which is great, is too big. And honestly, I don't really know what else to do about that, because these studs are pretty big studs, and I don't really understand why. I mean, this one, like, that one there isn't going to go down. None of them are going to go down. So I either have to clearance the turbo or do something with this hardware. I really don't want to touch the turbo, especially right here, because it's, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, well, don't tell Justin. But I just took the hardware and I ran it in the belt sander and just shaved it down enough to where it can snake past that. He would have done the exact same thing. But anyways, these fit with a socket. These, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to put crow's feet on, because a socket won't fit and a wrench won't get in there, and yeah. So I'm either gonna have to just take this wastegate off, and dang it, precision. This one definitely is gonna have to have a crow's foot. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. All right, turbo's on, ready to roll. It's done. Fired it up just for a little bit, just to make sure everything was good. Not able to really drive it, so we got some weather issues, so I am just gonna wait till it clears up. But turbo is on, it is ready to roll. So I think SET is coming up next weekend. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it, so probably gonna throw in the towel for that one. Just had some things pop up that's just not gonna be feasible for us to make it, so we're gonna hold off on that, and then the car's probably gonna sit for a little bit until my son is born, and I'm gonna work on some stuff around the house there and get ready for all that. So this project's probably gonna go on hold for just a little bit, but I'll be up here tuning some other cars and whatnot in the meantime, and I'll probably show some videos of that. But for now, when I get back and I get ready to go, the car will have the new turbo on there, the next gen 7675. It'll have the vertical flow intercooler, the ID 2600s, and who knows, we may make a couple other exciting changes in the meantime. And since I don't have an event to make now, since I'm not gonna be able to make this one, I'm gonna focus more on a couple of little knick-knack things here and there on the car, and then I am gonna make one other big change to it sometime this summer. We're gonna get the ball rolling on that pretty soon. Don't wanna say exactly what it is just yet, but it's gonna be a pretty big deal. No, it's not a cage, although I should.
But it's going to be something that's going to make this thing worthwhile, and we're really excited about it. So anyways, it'll probably be a little while. I'm going to put it on hold for a minute. Kind of ran out of time, honestly. The weather's kind of screwed some things up, and I'm not going to be able to go out and do what I want to do with it between now and when my kid's here. So I focus on a couple other things. Once I have a little bit more free time, we'll get back on it and we'll do this big update to it, and then we'll start producing a couple more videos, and we'll go from there. We'll see what we can do. So anyways,